Hey everyone, after some pretty good action on stage 18, where Quintana got himself back into the race, and of course, with the help of GC group that did not ride to chase him, except his team, surprisingly. It's time for the second Alpine stage in this year's tour. So it's time to preview 126 kilometer stage to Tignes. And it's a second Alpine stage, stage 19. And it's a short and punchy stage, so I'm expecting a lot of action on the stage. It climbs literally from the start. And today the riders got kind of lucky with the weather. We predicted the thunderstorms during the second half of the stage, and the GC riders beat the thunderstorm by about half an hour. The gruppetto actually was all in the rain coming into the finish, but the main riders did get a little bit of rain, but they were already off the Galibier, about 2-3 kilometers left from the finish, so it didn't have the major effect that I thought it was going to have. Now imagine if it would have rained on top of the Iseran, on top of the Galibier with the hairpins in a technical first parts of those descents. It would have been absolute carnage, and I reckon Quintana would have gotten at least a little bit more time, like at least 1 minute, 1 minute and 20 of a little bit of a wider advantage. But the biggest thing is instead of the GC getting wider apart, it actually has gotten tighter apart. So and that means nothing but action, and that means nothing but great watching for the fan, great excitement for a cycling fan. So really good to see. Looking at tomorrow's condition, 50% chance of a thunderstorm during the second part of the stage. So hopefully there won't be a thunderstorm on top of the Iseran, because if there is one, that first part of Iseran is technical and is super fast, so may lead to some serious problems for the riders. Now by the end of the finish, they're looking at 55% of a chance of a rain and thunderstorm. That probably will not affect an outcome since we're climbing into the finish this time. So 70 degrees Fahrenheit, high 60 by the finish. So that's 20, 21, 22 Celsius, right? So between 18 and 22 Celsius tomorrow. Low wind, right? Only 2-3 miles an hour. Tomorrow we have several climbs. We have 2 category 3s, 1 category 2. We have 1 category 1, the finishing climb, and we also have a ordered category, beyond category climb, which is an absolute beast tomorrow. So just like with the previous stage previews in the mountains, I kind of went and did a detailed, very detailed look at the climbs, at the descents, at possible key moments to attack during the stage. So we'll go over that. And the most important things, the riders are running out of time to get time out of Alaphilippe. Tomorrow is going to be a key stage to drop the guy and to actually get closer, because remember, this is not only about dropping Alaphilippe anymore, it's about gaining time on Alaphilippe, so catching back the minute and 30 or minute and 50, right? But it's also gaining time on him. So, Whether they need two attacks on two stages or one will depend on how hard they're riding, and will also depend on how Alaphilippe is feeling. Is he getting weaker, right? Is he maintaining his form from the Pyrenees, or he's getting more tired and tired? That's going to be a key. But the key to tiring Alaphilippe is, of course, riding super hard from the gun, and tomorrow is that kind of a stage, 126 kilometers, okay? So, looking at early climbs, we have a Category 3 climb that kind of opens up things. It's 3.1 kilometers at 6.8% average, Côte Saint-André. It comes in early, 25 kilometers, 100 kilometers from the finish. The really, really an opening kind of the events tomorrow of the real racing is probably going to be that second category climb that comes next, and it tops out at 38 kilometers into the stage. So still about 84, 85 kilometers from the finish. It is Category 2, 6.5 kilometers at 6.2%. So not bad. I looked at the detail of the climb. The official profile of the Tour de France states, official book states it at 6.5 kilometers at 6.2% average gradient. However, the 5 kilometers in the middle section of that climb are at 5 kilometers at 6.7%, so not bad. There's a 1 kilometer in that section of 8%, and there are 200 meters at 9%, so plenty of chances to kind of solidify the breakaway, right? It's probably going to be a large breakaway again. A lot of guys still have not won, right? 14 teams have not won this year yet. So, actually 13 because Movistar won. So 13 teams, most of the teams still haven't won a stage in Tour. So this is going to be a chance for somebody to, to go in there. I'm expecting usual, right? I know, AGR2 really wants to and needs to win the stage. Bardet is coming into a form finally. He got the polka dot jersey today. So I'm expecting him to be one of the main animators in that break. So basically, pretty much the whole AGR2 goes, Matthias Frank, Charel, all the guys, and help out Bardet to win the stage tomorrow. I'm expecting, also Astana to be out in force, Lutsenko, Peo Bilbao, Omar Freile, all these guys should be out there looking for a stage when they really need the win for sponsor. Hasn't been a good Tour de France for Astana. I'm expecting also, perhaps guys like Nibali, maybe he feels on form. Who knows? Maybe Mollema will go. Mollema struggled today. Maybe Daniel Martin will go, although he's struggled as well, right? But it just seems to me like like Astana, AGR will be the main animators of the stage. I'm also expecting Simon Yates to have a crack at a third stage, right? He already has two. His brother Adam tried yesterday, obviously not on form. So maybe Simon is in that break too. Probably somebody will be there from CCC. Today, CCC was all over that early break with everyone trying, right? Serge Bowles was there. Geschke, Van Avermaet was working for the other two guys. But, it's just not their terrain. That's the problem. They have good riders. It's just they cannot finish, right? They're just not strong enough. So, but I'm expecting one or two of them in the break today. Tomorrow. So certainly that early break will get established. Now we'll talk about the tactics a little bit later on in this preview. But it's going to be interesting to see if they send Quintana for Gloria already on a Category 2 climb. already in an early break. I'm not sure. I think Movistar will definitely send men up front, but I just don't think it's going to be this early, 85 kilometers from the finish. I think Movistars will attack tomorrow and will attack a long range, but not on a Category 2 climb. So that Category 2, and this is just another really important thing about this stage tomorrow, is it's a plateau. From about the Category 2 climb all the way to the top of the order category Liseran, we don't have really descents. It's pretty much all either a plateau, undulating plateau going slightly up, or a hill climb. So we don't have a descent. There's only like a 2-kilometer descent of that, and we get straight on to a plateau, and we just keep going higher and higher and higher until we hit the bottom of the Liseran. So after the Category 2 climb, we don't really have a descent other than the 2 kilometers. Then we have the undulations, goes up slightly, it's uncategorized, then it goes flat. Then we get to a Category 3 climb, Col de Madeleine, right? It's not the entire famous climb in the Tour de France, but it's a little version of that. It's 4 kilometers at 5.6%. But if you actually look at if you actually take it more in details and look at the other profiles in the map, it reveals actually something different about this climb, and we'll talk about this in a second. The climb comes 63.5 kilometers from the finish. So from there, we have what? 63.5. We have 36, 35. We still have about 60 kilometers to go. Now, officially again, 3.9 kilometers, 5.6. But this is, and by the way, some of the profile actually have it as a part of the whole big Liseran climb, right? They include it as one big climb. The Tour de France, set it up in 2, and I kind of agree with them because that falls flat between the Madeleine and Liseran is quite long. It's it's more than 10 kilometers, so that probably wouldn't count as climbing anyway. So before, actually, Col de la Madeleine, 1,746 meter, right? So it just keeps climbing, but there's a little sting, a little secret in the middle part, because there is a in-between middle section of this climb is 1.4 kilometers long, and the section is between 9 and 9.5%. So it really is enough, 1.4 almost kilometer and a half at 9 to 9.5%, to really start whittling that GC group down. And as we saw today, as soon as I think it was Soler, right, that went up front, and he started riding literally within a 500 yards to a kilometer, he had this group down to literally about 25 guys, or 20 guys even, right? So everyone is tired. Many teams don't want to ride because they don't really have a need, and they're too tired to go up front. It's not their terrain. So, so this could be a start of something. The GC guys could put men up front to start whittling it down and to put hurt on the Koenig and especially on Alaphilippe. So this could be, the start, the springboard of just going hard. After the climb, no descent again, which is going to make things a little bit extra hard, right? Literally no descent. And then we're going towards a sprint finish of the day, right? Whoever is going to compete that, right? I think the breakaway. We'll see how much time the breakaway gets tomorrow. I mean, I don't think they're going to allow Quintana to go into an early breakaway again, because he's now a danger. He's only 3 minutes and 54 seconds behind. you know, definitely somebody will be, you know, competing for that stage, but you know, for that sprint finish. But I don't think it's just going to be one of the guys that are usually fight for the green jersey. So that takes you to the bottom of the Liseran. Now Liseran is comes at the bottom of it comes at 75k into a stage, so that would leave us 50 kilometers from the finish, and this is where the main action will go. And Liseran is basically a beast, an absolute beast. Okay, it is slightly shorter than today, right? Than the Isorad, but it is actually a lot steeper than Isorad. So the official profile has it at 12.9 kilometers at 7.5% average gradient. I did my research. I looked at Strava. I looked at some other profiles, looked at the map in detail with the length of the climbs, and the climb is actually 13.2 kilometers, and it's slightly harder than suggested, so 7.7%, right? Can you imagine, right, climbing at top speed for 13 kilometers at average of 7.7%? I mean, that's insanity. And then not only that, you've already done 75k and you still got 50 to go over category 1 climb after almost 3 weeks in a saddle. It's insane. All right? Yeah, absolutely insane. I mean, this just comes to show you it's the hardest sporting event, by far the hardest sport on earth, what these guys are doing, right? 13.2 kilometers, 7.7%, 3 steep section, right? It's got 3 distinctive steep sections, and it takes you to 2,770 meters. It's a giant. It truly fits the kind of a name of an alpine giant. It's probably one of the highest roads in Europe, and also one of the highest in the Alps. Okay, paved road, and 3 steep section. One on the bottom, right, is at the start. There's a 4-kilometer section at 8%, with a 2K at 8.5%. Okay. Somebody's calling me. I am doing my preview. Then the middle section, right, is even harder. Basically, with the Isorand, the further you go, the closer you are to the top, the harder it gets. So the middle steep section gets even harder than the first one, right? By the time they actually clear the first part of the Isorand, the peloton is in pieces. There's literally 20 guys, if that, maybe 15 guys left, because they're going to be going super hard from the start, okay? So the question is, when is Alaphilippe having problems, right? You have to make this race hard for the other teams, for all the other teams. If you want to beat Alaphilippe, right, you cannot wait for Tignes, all right? Because Tignes, I don't think, can make enough of the difference for them to steal the yellow jersey tomorrow. They're going to have to wait for the last day. And if it's a last day, you know Alaphilippe is just going to find some kind of an extraterrestrial help. He's going to have all the French fans helping. He's going to have, motorcycles, helicopters, I don't know, President of France, the Secret Service of France maybe helping. I mean, I don't know, So tomorrow, although, and I am for Alaphilippe winning the Tour, by the way, right? It'd be great. So tomorrow you got to make this hard. First on the bottom of the Isorand, you gotta make it hard, all right, to drop Alaphilippe already there, right? I'll tell you why in a second. It's positioned perfectly right before the finish. So, second middle section, right? 1 kilometer at 8.5, right? Okay, hard. But then 1 kilometer at 9.5. Ooh, that's hard. Okay. Now, 500 yards at 10%. This is a separate section. 300 yards at 12%. So today, the last kilometer, if you remember, of Galibier, what do we see? It was a 9% slope. They went hard, dropped Alaphilippe. Tomorrow, the middle section of the Lizarad, right? 1 kilometer at 9.5%, steeper, right? The same length, but 500 yards at 10%, 300 meters at 12%, steeper and longer, right? That's on the middle section. Now, the last section, which is the hardest, towards the top, is the last 3 kilometers of that climb of the beast. And 1.1 kilometer, this is the kilometer that's with between 2 and 1 kilometers left to the top of the climb, has a 1.1 kilometer section at an average of 10.2%. This is where if somebody wants to make a difference, will make a difference right there, right? This is where all these guys like Pinot, like Bernal, all of these guys, they can make a difference, okay? Then there's a 200 meter within that 1.1 at 12.5 and 13%. This is it, right? They won't get a better chance on the next stage to Val Thorens. Although it's long, it's not super steep. 500 yards remaining is at our 10%, right? The last kilometer in that section before the top of the climb is still at 8.5. Very hard, steeper than today. They got to make it hard, right? And now you wonder, right? You're looking at the climb. You wonder where this is going to be where Quintana would actually go, okay, early on Iseran. And who is going to chase Quintana? And I think Quintana is a big, big joker in this tour now. They let him in to the Tour de France, right? I mean, half by his great riding, the other half by just not really chasing. And he's 3:54 behind. If he attacks on the bottom, he could get 2 minutes. Okay? 2, maybe even 2:30, which sets up a very interesting finale for the race on Saturday, right? If Quintana gets 2:30, that, then he's competing for victory. Pretty amazing, right? The last part is very hard. On top of the Col de l'Iseran, you've got the bonus seconds, right, for being one of the special climbs. 8 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds. I'm not expecting this to be a factor because there's going to be a breakaway that's going to be up front. AGR is just going to be driving that breakaway for Bardet, right? Now, once over the top, there's an issue with the weather now. 50-55% a chance of a thunderstorm. We'll have to watch this carefully. First part of the descent off the Iseran is actually very technical. It's nothing like what we saw today, but it has 9 hairpins, okay? 180 degree, 90 degree hairpins. It could get dangerous if it rains, okay? Somebody may make a mistake there. I'd say it right there. I tell you, Alaphilippe is by far the best descender out of that group, right? Had the entire descent today of the Galibier would have been hairpins, he would have gotten an advantage today, okay? You saw what he did on the first part, how he was riding. Off the top of the climb, if the attack won't come on the bottom, it'll come on top for sure. So I'm expecting Quintana to go on the bottom of the Col de l'Iseran, and I'm expecting the climbers, Pinot and Bernal, Ineos, and FDJ to play their cards within the last 3 kilometers of the Col de l'Iseran. Why am I expecting this? Because it tops out at 36 kilometers from the finish. Perfect springboard. It's a lot closer than what it was what Izorad was today, right? Izorad was 76k out. This is 36k out, and you pretty much have a descent all the way to the bottom of that little climb of Tignes, right, to the finish. So the descent has two parts, kind of split between a flat section, right? First, we get down directly from the mountain. The first part is technical. Second part is super fast. We get to a flat and we go around the lake, and then we plunge down again towards the bottom of Tignes, and then we go up again to the finish. So this is gonna be one of the key places. The hole is around the bottom of it for a movie star to make a move, and the top 3 kilometers of the order category climb for Pinot, for Bernal, and for maybe Geraint Thomas to go on the attack. Okay, now, and by the way, of course, watch that weather tomorrow because it may get pretty hairy. Now, Tignes, the final climb, right? 7.4 kilometers at 7%, and this time the profile of the Tour de France book is pretty accurate, because that's what I saw too when looking at it in details. Now, here is the final chance for somebody to hit Alaphilippe tomorrow, and it's going to be the first 3 kilometers on the bottom that are gonna make a difference, right? You could set up an attack there. So the first 3 kilometers, the first one is at 7.5%. The second one is where the difference could be made, where the attack could be made. 9.1% average for the entire kilometer, steep. The third kilometer is 6.8, so you could sustain the attack. Then it flattens out for 2 kilometers, goes down to like 3-4%, before again getting steeper. 6.7% average for kilometer 5. Kilometer 6 is a big one. Kilometer 6 is kilometer 6 is 8.7% average. So this is where you could make your final plunge, final attack for the top. The final 800 yards of the climb are 7.4%, so still good to maintain the attack. They go over the top, and they got about 2 kilometers to finish on a flat plateau. So, Tignes is another one, right? If somebody attacks from the ease around, he could sustain the advantage because the climb is only 7%. It's got plenty of steepness. If they don't want to ride because they're just not confident enough, like we saw today, the GC will come into the bottom, and then there's going to be differences of 30, 40, up to a minute, right? So that it probably won't be enough if they don't ride hard to take away the jersey from Alaphilippe, and everything will, resolve on the stage 20, the final stage in the Alps. Tactics, right? Movie star, like I said, will play a huge part in this whole thing. That's going to be a key to the race for me, right? The question is whether, it's not if, when Quintana will go, right? He's got great legs. If there's a person in the peloton that could make that big of a difference back, is Quintana. The question is, if Quintana goes early, even into a breakaway, right? Super early breakaway. Or then, if they don't let him go, if he goes early on the Lise round, who will chase him, right? Normally it would be Jumbo, right? But Jumbo now has a problem because what? Tony Martin got ejected, and Bennett, the key domestique, crashed twice, and he's just probably not 100%. So Ineos, I watched Ineos today too, not what they were. Now it's definitely. They're not what they were before in the previous years as Sky. Kwiatkowski is just gone, MIA, dropped off super early today. De Barle is not what he was at Dapien. Obviously a week race versus 3 weeks is a big difference. World Pools dropped too early too. I mean, World Pools was destroying people. In the previous years, there'd be like 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys left, and Kwiatkowski would lead up the climbs and leave like 15 guys, 10 guys with him. So, something is going on there, right, with Ineos this year. I think everybody's asking a question, what happened, where's the form? So Movistar is going to be a big thing with putting guys up front and the question about Quintana. The other 2 guys, Landa and Valverde, I was expecting Landa to go today, right? Maybe he didn't have the legs, maybe he didn't have the confidence because he's close. Tomorrow, Landa may actually go on the Lisa round, right? And kind of join Quintana. I just don't know what Movistar is thinking, right, at this point. I mean, the big question is, Quintana today at some point had 8 minutes and 20 seconds advantage. So he was almost a minute out of the yellow jersey. Movistar started chasing. They weren't really chasing him. They were chasing, to set up maybe somebody for a stage win because they didn't expect Quintana to have good legs. They were expecting Quintana to have, maybe okay legs and Landa to catch up to him, right? And eventually Quintana used as a worker. But that, Quintana's legs are back, man. That was a big attack. Huge attack on the Iseran, right? I mean, it looked like, and it wasn't like he made it against, non-climbers. He made it against Badret. He left Badret in the dust. Okay, so I think his legs are back. The GC riders better watch out for Quintana. So the question remains: how much did Quintana lose by his teammates leading the pace, taking over the pace? I'm pretty sure it was probably about 1 minute and 30 in the end. So if we look at the stats today, Quintana is 3:54. If he would have gotten 1.5 minutes extra, that puts him at about 2:30 behind, puts him right back into the race, right? And again, you got to wonder, right? You got to wonder what's going on in that team, okay? What are they trying to get? I'm sure they're trying to get a podium, but everyone can't be at the podium. You have to decide on a leader eventually, who rides for whom. Another question would be Ineos, right? Team Ineos now has an even bigger problem because they have 2 guys within 5 seconds. Bernal now took over Geraint Thomas for 2nd place. Geraint Thomas is 3rd with 1 minute and 35 behind. Again, who rides for whom? Decide, okay? Because today, it was kind of weird, right? What did you see? Bernal attacked at the end of Galibier at that 9% slope. Then, he had like 30 seconds advantage, and then who attacks? Geraint Thomas attacked to chase back his own teammate. And, you could speculate whether that was the plan. Geraint Thomas told Bernal to go up front, and then that's what he claims, at least Bernal. Then Geraint Thomas attacked to bridge up to Bernal, but Bernal was going too hard. And, by the time Geraint Thomas got over the top of a Galibier, maybe he had 50 yards, right? So again, who's the leader on that team now, right? Tactics of the team tomorrow. I think, again, Bernal is going to go. I think Bernal is going to go early on Tignes, right? On the early slope, the 2nd steep kilometer. This is where Bernal may go. So definitely, definitely a leadership issue. Alaphilippe, right? Absolutely better today. The tactic I thought worked out to perfection. He did not follow Bernal, rightly so. He did not really follow Geraint Thomas's attack. He was smart on the wheels. He lost a little bit of ground on the Galibier, but returned very quickly, and we just got to witness Alaphilippe's descending skills. Taking risk, right? So I think tomorrow, if I was going to give you a prediction tomorrow, it's going to be super tight, but I think Alaphilippe survives tomorrow to go into a stage 20, the last Alpine stage, as a leader of the Tour de France in the yellow jersey, setting up an amazing finale to the Tour. I think he loses time tomorrow. I think the favorites hesitate a little bit too long, right? They attack him, but they make only a difference between 40 seconds and a minute, maybe a minute 15, not enough to take him out of the yellow jersey, setting up that big final day where unfortunately I think, I'm definitely rooting for Alaphilippe, but I just don't see him getting beyond stage 20, right? But tomorrow, my prediction is Alaphilippe still rides in yellow into the stage 20. As far as the other guys that I'm looking at, watch Quintana, right? If Quintana gets 2 minutes tomorrow, he's going to be a major player for Saturday stage 20, the final Alpine stage. He's going to be a major player for the podium, if not a major player for victory. Watch Quintana tomorrow, right? Landa, Valverde seemed a little bit weaker today. Landa, I think, may have to go tomorrow as well because the time is running out. Pinot Bernal is definitely going to be on that attack, right? I'm not sure what Pinot's day was like today because we didn't see him. He chased after Bernal, but he didn't go crazy. So it just didn't seem to me like Pinot had a good day today, right? He was able to follow, he was able to chase Bernal, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like he was as strong as as the previous days in the Pyrenees. Who knows? Maybe it was his version of a bad day that he always has in the mountains. The other two guys, Kruijswijk and Bookman, I don't know, riding passively, riding for a place on the podium, riding for the wheels, right, catching the right wheels. I really think these guys really need to take a risk, at least one of them. They will probably never get a chance like that anymore because Ineos is weak, right? There is no major team that's controlling everything. Chris Froome is out of the Tour de France, right? Geraint Thomas doesn't seem to be 100%. Bernal is still kind of limited by his team and what he's doing with Geraint Thomas, right? So nobody's really, there's really no dominator. There's no dominating team. And I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking that for these two guys, Kruijswijk and Bookman, it's career, right? One of them should make an attack, should go for glory. I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day on Saturday, the last day in the Alps, but one of them should go for glory because at this point there are the losers out of the top six, right? They're, if they're going to come fifth or sixth, it's just not going to, or even fourth, it's a success, but it's not like coming in on the podium, and it's not like having a shot to win the goddamn thing, right? Who cares if you come in seventh or fourth or fifth, right? If you come in third, second, or first, now you're talking. So we'll just have to see more from Bookman and have to see more from Kruijswijk. For now, they're very good, but they're just following wheels for now. As far as the other guys, Badret tomorrow will solidify his polka dot jersey lead, right? His legs seem to be back. He was a little bit disappointed today, putting all this effort, putting his team up front. All these guys are going to be back tomorrow. Badret is my favorite to win the stage tomorrow, okay? Unless he's just going to sit up and rest for the stage 20. But no way, because he has a polka dot jersey to defend. Right, so he's going to be out on that attack. I think Lutsenko, right, and Oldie Astana is going to be out tomorrow again. Peo Bilbao is going to be out. Omar Frail, especially Lutsenko, looked really good today. Kama is going to be out, looked really good. CCC will put a couple of guys in. Geschke was not good, not as good as he looked in a, on the second Pyrenean stage. Simon Yates probably will be back on the attack to win, try to win the trio. Adam tried today, wasn't that good. He's clearly off form. Watch out for Valverde. Watch out for Quintana to go from far away. They're my a lower favorites to win the stage tomorrow. Mollema might be back. I don't know how Dan Martin is. Normally I would pick him as a winner of a stage tomorrow, but he's not on form. Maybe he's changed his his goals, and if he changed his goals after today, maybe tomorrow he's on an attack. Again, fantastic climber. His form could come back. Julien Martin kind of yo-yoing there in the top 15, whether he'll ride or not in an early breakaway, whether he also has a chance to win the stage, we'll have to see. I'm kind of hoping for the other guys too, but it's just nobody wants to really ride. Nibiali, how's his form? Usually he'd be a favorite for an attack on a stage like this when out of the GC. Xandro Maurice, right? Warren Barguil lost a little bit of time today again. Maybe top 10 is kind of out of contention. Maybe he wants to go for a stage tomorrow, right? Good climber, on form. But I really think it's going to be between AGR2, Movistar, and Astana tomorrow. AGR2 and Astana really need to win the stage. Also, I'm seeing Simon Yates in a mix. Okay? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer video. I'm just so excited that I love to break down the stages. Hopefully you're riding out there. Today I'm gonna go, it's nice today, so I'm gonna go out for my little 25-30 mile spin today in the evening. It should be very nice. It's like 75 outside, and I'm gonna treat my 600 yard climbs as the Col de Gaubier and Col de Isorade, right? If you like the breakdowns, please like the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more things with the Tour de France and with the coming races remaining in the cycling calendar. I'll try to do a news show on the Vuelta every day. I'm going to be doing videos on the upcoming Pro Tour races, so upcoming Tour de Pologne and upcoming classics like San Sebastian. So stay tuned. We have 2 more big alpine stages to go, so I'm going to be doing something special for a final day in the Alps, as I'm expecting it to be an absolute classic in cycling history. Alright guys, hit like if you liked it. Please leave me comments, right? I always love comments. I always answer them. Who are your predictions for tomorrow? What do you think is going to happen to Quintana's long range attack? Who do you think has the chances? How this is going to unfold tomorrow? The GC is getting tighter instead of getting wider, so pretty exciting. Yeah, like, subscribe, and hopefully you get out there today for a ride. Maybe after you get out, you can watch the video. So yeah, thanks guys. Take care.